Hello, my name is Stanley Heller. Welcome to The Struggle. The Struggle is shown on over 30 cable stations from Vermont to New York City, on the internet at thestruggle.org, our YouTube channel, Struggle Video Media. A year ago, at the start of July, Mohammed Abu Khader was kidnapped, doused with gasoline, and burnt to death. 3 Israelis are on trial. One is an adult. His lawyer said he was mentally ill at the time of the act. A small group of Palestinians tried to mark the atrocity on its anniversary by blocking a road that was taken by the 3 Israelis as they hunted for a victim. Instead of showing the slightest bit of sensitivity, the Israeli soldiers set upon the demonstrators and also members of 4 media outfits, including Reuters.
Scream! People are attacking you. What are you doing?
Stop!
She's a journalist! Why do you have to be silent? Let him be! Hey! Where do you think I fucking go? Motherfucker! Nothing! I have a gun! Go to the side! Go to the side! Go to the side! Okay! Go to the side!
Several of the demonstrators were hospitalized. As we record further grim, horrific news, this time an 18-month-old baby burned to death. A Palestinian child, Ali Saad Dawabsheh, burned presumably by settlers because a Hebrew word was written on some of the homes in the village that was attacked. The boy's 4-year-old sibling was burned on 75% of its body. These are 2 photos of the baby's clothing. Moving on to Iran, there's all kinds of scare stories being spread by commercials and other means on the media. One of the scares is that Iran has this huge conventional military force that's a danger to the Saudis and the other Gulf nations. Well, there was a report in April by the very establishment Anthony Cordesman of the Center for Strategic and International Studies. His report was called "How the Arab Gulf States Now Dominate the Changes in the Military Balance." He shows how the Saudis and Qataris and other hereditary dictatorships of the Gulf outspend the Iranians on weapons by a very wide amount. Abu Dhabi alone spent more last year on weapons than Iran. And that doesn't bring in Israel at all. And while the Saudis and the others buy the most modern weapons from the United States and Europe, according to the report, Iran has essentially been forced to live in the past, often relying on systems originally delivered at the time of the Shah. Point of information, the Shah last ran Iran in the 1970s. We'll link to the Courtisman study on our website. On the other hand, and there is another hand, the assertion that Iranians have been at peace with their neighbors for 200 years is rather dubious. They're up to their eyeballs in the war in Syria on the side of Assad. And Iranian generals are arming and in some cases even commanding Assad's troops. You can hear about it in our TSVN interview with Yasser Munaf. You can connect via our website to it on YouTube. We heartily condemn Iran for what it's doing in Syria, as we condemn Saudi Arabia and the US and Israel and Turkey. Mentioning that last country, the Erdogan government there is now killing the PKK Kurds, the best fighters against the Islamic State. These are photos from the area near Turkey where an Islamic State suicide bomber killed 30 Turkish Kurds and other leftists. And these are photos from Paris at a solidarity rally. You don't often see a dragon on the city streets, but climate activists brought a fossil fuel dragon to make their point that the city of New Haven and Yale University needs to take action desperately to stop humanity's march towards climate catastrophe.
It's going to move like a snake?
I was thinking like, ooh.
That's why
I'm Ben Martin with 350 Connecticut, and I'm joining these great New Haven people to show off the fossil fuel dragon and how we can slay it with 100% renewable energy. We're going to save the world, we're going to make a better life for poor people, we're going to make our state a better place to live by going to with renewable energy and saving the climate.
The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration and NASA found that 2014 was the warmest year on record, according to basically every measure we have for temperature. Climate scientist James Hansen recently released a report that he contributed to that states that glaciers in Antarctica and Greenland are melting 10 times faster than we originally thought. That means that sea levels could rise at least 10 feet in as few as 50 years. And when sea levels rise and temperatures increase, people move. It's estimated that 150 million people will be displaced by climate change within the next 40 years.
Protesters took the dragon on visits to City Hall and Yale, where they dropped off letters calling for action to stop the use of the increasingly deadly fossil fuel.
What do we want?
Now to our featured story, the Million People's March in Newark, New Jersey. People's Organization for Progress chairman Larry Ham was MC, and he wanted the voices of the families of the victims of police brutality to be especially prominent.
Usually in these marches, we call on the victims, they be like almost at the end of the program. We're not going to do that today. And I hope all of the speakers that are scheduled to speak will be patient. And I'll try to mention that you're here as we go through the program. Brother Cornel West has already been mentioned. But our fighter, one of the first to endorse this effort, our fighter from the other side of the Hudson is here. Assemblyman Charles Barron is here. Give him a big hand. But right now, we're going to hear from the families of those who were murdered by the police. Some of their cases are still active, some of their cases are active in the streets. There are no inactive cases. A case is active as long as you're fighting for justice in that case. But the first person I want to bring forward is the mother of Abdul Kamal, who was killed by Irvington police, fired upon 15 times, hit 10 times. Like Amadou Diallo, the only thing he had in his hand was a cell phone. Please welcome, in the strongest possible way, Michelle Kamal, the mother of Abdul Kamal.
Thank you, Chairman Ham. First, I want to give all honor and praise to my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. My family who supports me and who's always there with me, my pop family, and my friends. And all of you that has come out today. You know, my heart is troubled because we're here in Essex County. We're here at the courthouse. But Chairman is the only person that mentioned our children's names. We have to stop letting other people come before us. Our children are here in New Jersey, in Essex County. But we continue to talk about everybody but our children. Our children's names are not in the news. Our children's videos are not being shown. There's no group that invite us as a group of mothers. In this organization, we have 3 mothers that lost their sons to police killing. 3, that's insane. My son was murdered November the 11th, 2013, around 2 o'clock in the morning in Irvington. My son was my only son, he was my youngest child. I have 3 children, 2 daughters and a son, and he's gonna always be my son. He's not a was, he's a is. He is my son. The police, they cannot take the joy nor the peace away from me. That was given to me by God. No one's going to take that from me. And we're going to stand up for our children in New Jersey. Abdul Kamal, Kashad Ashford, and Jamal Reed. Those are our children, but no one talks about our children. But we're going to talk about them. We're going to make sure no one forgets. So that's why we're here today. And we thank all of you for coming out today. We thank you so much for coming out today. I don't want what happened to the 3 of us to happen to you. So people, please get involved in organizations that are actually doing something good. Please get involved because it can happen to you. We never thought we would get a call that our sons are never coming home, that they will never see their children or their wives. Our children have fathers and mothers, sisters and brothers, and they all miss them. Normally I'm fine, but sometimes we have a bad day. November the 11th will be 2 years, and it's like it just happened. So I thank all those that support me. I truly do. And I thank you all for coming out.
In Bridgeton, New Jersey, y'all seen the video. How many of y'all seen the video of what happened to Jerome? That video went viral. He was getting out of the car. He had his hands open and raised. He had nothing in his hand. You know, Amadou Diallo had a wallet. Abdul Kamal had a cell phone. Jerome didn't have anything in his hand, and he was shot dead in the street. Let's welcome in the strongest possible way his mother and his father, his brother and sister and family.
Oh wow, it is beautiful to see so many people out here today. I am so happy. My heart is pounding so fast and so hard. I miss my baby. Jerome was my middle son. This is my oldest son. This is my baby. This is Dwayne. This is Sean. This is my niece. We miss Jerome. Jerome didn't have to die the way he died. Bridgeton's police officers didn't have to open fire on him like that. It was only 2 officers, Officer Worley and Officer Dave. I would like to see them prosecuted to the fullest, but right now they're not doing anything. It's been 6 months since they done anything. He died December the 30th, 2014 at 11 something that evening. I saw him Christmas Day along with my grandson. This is my grandson and my son on my chest. My grandbaby was only 3 months old when he died, when his father died. Now he has no father, and I want justice. I want justice for my son. I want justice for my grandson, because my grandson's gonna grow up not knowing his grandfather. And I hope to God that I'll live long enough to see my grandson get justice.
Brothers and sisters, the People's Organization for Progress was created in 1983. One of our early cases in which we were involved, playing a support role, was that of Philip Pennell. How many remember Philip Pennell? Philip Pennell, 16 years old, shot in the back, and according to the regional medical examiner, was shot in the back while he was on his knees. To my surprise, the mother and sister of Philip Pennell, who was killed in 1990, they are here with us today. Welcome them in the strongest possible way, the Pennell family. Where's the mother and the sister of Philip Pennell?
In 1990, my son was shot in the back with his arms in the air, with his hands in the air. And his partner said, Spat was the police officer that shot him in the back. Blanco said if he hadn't shot him, he would have. So that's telling me he would never had a chance in life. And this has been 25 years ago that this happens. Every day I hear of some young man been shot. It just keep on coming up in my, just bringing up memories. You could never go on with your life like that. There's no way. And just yesterday I was sent a video when this first happened 25 years ago. And that brought back all the memories and pain. Please, people, keep on marching for justice. No matter how many years it's been, it's going to keep on happening to us. Please, please, support the parents that lost all of their children, that lost the young men. Please, thank you.
I just wanted to say that I thank everyone for coming out. Like my mom said, it's hard to forget. It's been 25 years since my brother was murdered, shot in the back with his hands up high in the air. As far as us being out here thinking that we're going to get justice and ways of marching, we have to, like Mr. Ham said, we have to create like a radical movement, you know, and let it be known that we're not just going to do this. If we're going to rally, let's rally in front of the politicians' homes. Let's go to DC and rally in front of the White House. And if we have to do it every day, then if that's what it takes, then that's what we're going to do. Because 25 years to see Sandra Bland, Mike Brown, Eric Garner, and all the other countless cases. I mean, it's mind-boggling. I sit in front of the television all the time, just crying in tears, and I have no more tears to shed. That's why I'm here today. I was 13 when my brother was murdered. I'm 38 years old, and I'm still out here marching. So like my mom said, I thank all of you again, and we must not give up. Power to the people.
Thank you. Give them a big hand. The Pennell family, they are with us today. We have folks here, mothers here not only from New Jersey, but from other states. And one of those who've been fighting harder than almost anyone I know is here from Mothers Cry for Justice. And that's Sister Juanita Young. Let's give a big welcome. Give a big welcome, Juanita Young.
No justice! No peace! No justice! No peace! What do we want? Justice! What do we want it? Now! No justice! No peace! Oh, I am so happy to see so many people out here today. For the past 15 years I've been out here trying to fight for justice for my son Malcolm Ferguson when he was murdered March 1st of 2000. Since the murder of my son, I have met so many families and so many mothers and just so many good people. I met Larry when my son was first murdered. He was one of the people that came out to some of the rallies. And I still see he's out here supporting the families. So you got to give it to him because he stands for what he knows and believes in. I have to tell you, Larry, that is so good. That is so good. But my son Malcolm was murdered March 1st of 2000 in the Bronx. The cop who murdered my son admitted he murdered my son for no reason. The DA refused to take his case to a grand jury. So we ended up taking this case to civil court to hear this lowlife say he murdered my son for no reason. But yet he walked out that courtroom. How can you admit to murdering somebody and not be charged? So I'm still right now have learned new information on I'm going to take another step to try to get this cop Louis Rivera in the Bronx for the murder of my son. But as a mother, and having to live the pain we live in such, you know, that you go to the doctor, they give you medicine to ease or take that pain away. There's not a medicine, nothing can take the pain that we live in on a regular basis. We give birth to these kids to watch them grow up and have a good life, not to see somebody come and make us live in the pain that we live in. And then to hear somebody come tell you, oh, your son shouldn't have went for the gun. What? Show me the fingerprints. Oh, but the cop admitted he murdered my son for no reason. Oh, but Amadou Diallo had a wallet. What was his crime? Ayanna Jones in Detroit was asleep, laying on the couch. What did Sharpton say? Why was she asleep on the couch? Come on. I mean, I do this on a national level, speaking to so many families. But the problem we having, we allowing the same people to come back in the office. That's why we not getting nowhere. The only people that stand up for us, Charles Barrett, hey, that's my man. Oh yes, Cornel West, they stand for what they believe in. To see us come out here and stand up, stop putting them people that don't believe in justice. They just believe in making the name. And if you stop putting them back in office and you see what position we in right now, that next election say, no way, we don't need you. We tired of burying our kids. We tired of not being able to sleep at night without picking up the phone or going out the door and the cop attacking us. Tell the cops we don't need you. Let the community protect their own community. Come on. Thank you.
World-famous writer and activist Dr. Cornel West spoke on the theme, Stay on Fire for Justice, and note some of the excellent remarks he said about Palestinians.
I don't care what color, what gender, what sexual orientation, if you're not in solidarity with the poor and working people, then you deserve to be criticized. And what does that mean? That means that we come together in the streets, willing to go to jail, and most importantly, we got to be faithful unto death. Faithful unto death. If you're not faithful unto death, you don't have a freedom movement. That's why this gathering is so historic, because the world believes we're running out of gas. But we ain't running out of gas at all. Look at all this fire here. Look at this leadership of Brother Larry Hale. Do you know what's going to happen 2 weeks from now? 2 weeks from now, we're going to shut down the city of St. Louis in the name of Donnie Hathaway. be faithful unto death and tell the truth. And the condition of truth is always to allow suffering to speak, and the suffering begins with the young folk, the elder folk, those in the prison, those in the hood, in the projects, and it spills over, yes, but it's also about love. Because 48 years ago, there was a rebellion that took place, not just here, but in Plainsfield too. And 2 weeks later in Detroit. And by the end of the summer, the whole summer was dancing the Martha and the Vandellas, because they were dancing in the street, fighting in the street, bearing witness in the street. Why were they doing it in 1967? And I want to add a footnote. John Coltrane died the last day of the rebellion in Newark, y'all. His very spirit, with all of those screams and shrieks in that saxophone, with that sophisticated technique and craft, but grounded in struggle for freedom. Oh yes! Well, here we are, almost 50 years later with Brother Larry, and we're still dealing with the same capitalist wealth inequality, the same gender domination, the same vicious legacy of white supremacy. You say, but oh, Brother West, we got all these black faces in high places. I say, yes, that's good. We put them there, but they're going to have to be accountable. They're going to have to be accountable. We're going to make sure that all the tears of these mothers and these fathers are not shed in vain. And so we march now. We may have to go to jail later, and we have to go down fighting in whatever way you choose. But please, let's stop the sleepwalking that's been going on for the last 30 years. Wake up, be alert, come together, organize, mobilize, and keep your eyes on the prize. And I'm going to add another footnote, because we need an international dimension. We got Brother Glenn Ford here, the Black Agenda report. When you got 500 Palestinian babies who die in 50 days and not one leader in the country can say a mumbling word, what is that? That's a Keith Sweat moment. Something just ain't right. You got 230 babies killed by U.S. drones in Yemen and Somalia and Pakistan and Afghanistan, and people won't say a mumbling word in public. That's a Keith Sweat moment. Something just ain't right. So we gonna be consistent. There's no doubt that Black Lives Matter. You talking about my mama and my daddy and my brothers and sisters. Ain't no doubt about that. And you start on the chocolate side of town with the Palestinian lives and the Yemen lives. They matter in that context for us. Just like all our lives matter here, for them, for us. And it's that kind of solidarity that we need. So are you ready to march? Let's march. Let's march with determination. Let's march with dignity. But let's march with fire in the memory of Amir Baraka, in the memory of our dear sister Sarah Vaughn of Newark, in the memory of John Coltrane's Love Supreme.
And then in the broiling sun, hundreds marched for miles.
All the families come forward. What do we want? Justice. When do we want it? What do we want? Justice. When do we want it? What do we want? Justice. When do we want it? What do we want? Justice. When do we want it? What do we want? Justice. When do we want it? What do we want? Justice. When do we want it? Listen. Justice. When do we want it? What do we want? Justice. When do we want it? What do we want? Justice. When do we want it? What do we want? Justice. Saeed, move to the side. What do we want? Block in the back. What do we want? Justice. Wait a minute. What do we want? Justice. When do we want it? Now. Family members. Justice. If we don't get it, family members, put your hands up. Now. All the family members, put your hands up. Put your hands up and march to the front. Shut it down. The family members. Justice. What do we want? Justice. When do we want it? Now. Where's the second speaker? Shut it down. Bring the second speaker. Tell the second seconds he's got to be out here with me so he can repeat what I'm saying. I think Larry Adams. Justice! When do we want it? Now! What do we want? Justice! When do we want it? Now! Got to stay plugged. Justice! When do we want it? Now! That matter, you got to stay justice! You got to vote to now! What do we want? Justice! When do we want it? Now! What do we want? Justice! When do we want it? Now! What do we want? Justice! When do we want it? Now! What do we want? Justice!
That's our program for today. See you next week at this time. I'm Stanley Heller, and this is The Struggle.